Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video and yet another chapter. Building these two guys, those two right there. That's our ROKAF F-4D and the Tamiya's F-4B Phantom 2s. And we're doing both at the same time, comparing the builds on both. So here we are. Well, as you can tell by my little mess on my desk, I've been kind of busy. I've been working on the Tamiya kit, putting on the decals from the Academy kit. Why? Because I'm doing the Tamiya kit as if it was the Academy kit. I'm making the Tamiya, this guy right there, he is going to be not the American version, but the Korean version. Annyeonghaseyo yarabun, to all my Korean friends out there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Speaking of support, I've got some new subscribers this week. I want to thank you guys. Obviously, my request to hit that subscribe button has been working a little bit, at least this week anyway. And so yeah, I'm really happy about that. Thank you guys so much. Because I know that a good 80% of you guys out there that watch my videos, you haven't subscribed yet. So just hit that subscribe and help me out a little bit, eh? Yeah, there's my plug for now. Anyway, so as I was saying, this is the decal call-out sheet for the Academy kit. Front and back shows you where all your decals are supposed to go. And I have been busy. I spent a good two and a half days, something like that, after work, come home and get to putting these decals all over this plane. And this is what we got so far. So, and as of course I put a nice clear, glossy clear coat over it to cover it all up. I'll zoom in here for you guys so you can have a look where we are right now. So that's what we got. Sorry, I got some sun coming in through my window. Yeah, so we got lots of decals. You guys already saw the underneath, doing all that fun stuff. So now we've got the top and got a whole bunch of decals on there, and so she is ready for a little bit of weathering. Okay, now that leaves us with the Academy kit. What have I been doing with that? Well, that one's kind of been put aside while I was doing those decals. I haven't really done much this week on it. What I did do is, you guys saw, I got the bottom part of this guy all nice and dirty and all weathered up, and he's all nice and ready for some other stuff to finally get some stuff installed on this. And I went over the top. Okay, sorry, the sun's kind of in a bad position here. Let's put him this way, and maybe, so that is what this guy's looking like now. So I want this guy to look, let me change this again. I want this guy to look dirty. So I used my panel liner stuff and I got him a little bit dirty. So this is now a much darker gray. So my next plan with this guy, so this is the panel liner, the AK Interactive panel liner. Okay, I use this stuff, and this one happens to be panel liner for gray and blue. Okay, I always put a little bit of smudge of that stuff on there so I can show exactly what color this stuff is just by looking at the lid. And I do that with all my AK stuff, right? I get a little smudge on there. I know what color that's going to look like when I put it on, because their bottles kind of leave a little bit to be desired. You don't really get a real good look at what they look like until you've got it actually on something. So anyway, so what I do is I just go over this and wipe it all off, and I left it really kind of dirty so that I can come over this with some more of the light gray and do it in the panels to show some fading, and I don't actually have to lighten this up because I've already made this thing darker by using that panel liner. Okay, so what are we going to do today? Today what we're going to do is I'm going to use this stuff on my Tamiya kit, but I'm going to clean it up a lot more because I don't want the Korean plane looking super dirty like the Americans. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. First, start off by shaking this up. And then once I've got that done, it shouldn't take me too long. Once I've got that done, I'll start doing some airbrushing and get that all ready to go. So, let's move my decals out of the way. In fact, while I'm doing this, let's just find a little container to put all of my spare decals in. I've got all these little decals here. These are all spares that have not been used, but have the potential to be used. So I could add some, I could use them on the actual Academy kit, but of course I do have all my Tamiya decals and my one big sheet of Tamiya decals that I can use on that. And the Tamiya ones, well, they're Tamiya decals, and I know Tamiya gets a bit of flack from some guys. Some guys don't like Tamiya decals because, well, Tamiya decals are a little bit thick. I'll give them that. But you know, I haven't had really much issue with Tamiya decals, so I can't really complain about Tamiya decals. I think Tamiya is pretty good. I'm just going to throw all of my spares in here. Why not? There we go. Okay. Now they're in a nice little safe space. Alright. Getting back to this. So, we want it consistent, but really all I want to do is fill in all the panel lines. Okay, because I am going to wipe a good, my intention is to wipe a good 90% of this stuff away. Because I don't want it looking super filthy. Okay. So, let's change camera. You can see what I'm doing a little bit better. I don't want it looking super filthy. I just want to do the panel lines. So I'm not going to go crazy with it. I just realized I haven't clear coated this yet. So I'm going to fix this problem right now. Let's clean this up. Clean that off right away before it dries. So I don't want unnecessary stains. I gotta clear coat this. Okay. So let's change back. I did not realize I hadn't clear coated this yet. So just do that. I'll hit it with some clear. This is just the Tamiya's TS13. That's all I use for a clear. A nice gloss coat. It does the job and don't have to worry about it afterwards. So let me just get this clear nice and shiny first. Okay, so I'll do 2 coats just to make sure. Okay, so let's leave that. Put that aside and leave that for now. And we'll work on this guy. Okay, I'll change it back again. Okay. So, because I don't want to go crazy on this, I want to just kind of dab on the lines, on the panel lines where I need it to get it to flow. Sometimes you have to do this. Sometimes you just got to pull it through the panel line, and it's just the nature of the beast. Sometimes it just won't flow. But that's okay. And depending on how much you want it to really look dirty, depends on how much you're going to clean up. There's a lot of lines here right at the forefront of this wing, so I'm going to be drawing these a lot along here. Okay. Anytime that I see that it's going to flow naturally, then I'll just back off and I won't be drawing it through. But the big blobs like that obviously are going to flow pretty good. I do want to have a bit of dirt, a bit of grime along here, because that's natural. That happens on these planes. There's a lot of hydraulics in the in that part of the wing, right? So along that wing root there, that's, sorry, not the wing root. Well, I guess it kind of is a root, isn't it? Sort of a root. I'm finding myself drawing almost every line rather than trying to get it to flow, just because I don't trust the flow ability. But that's my thing. You could always thin this stuff out, put a little bit of extra mineral spirits in there and thin it out. To try and get it to flow better. But like I said before, I'm not interested in making this particular plane look super old and weathered and dirty. It's the other one that I want to do. The American plane needs to have that weathered look. In my opinion, that's what I'm going for. Okay. The Korean plane is going to be fairly clean. The intention is just, well, they maintain it a little more diligently as far as cleanliness. That's my thing. Okay, that's what I'm going for. Okay, so this wing is done. So let's just turn her around and we'll work on this wing. And that will let, working on this wing will allow the other side to dry. I have found you want it to dry, but you don't want it to cure. Okay, so probably letting it dry overnight is not really a good idea. I would not expect very good results if I decided to try and just let this sit overnight. I don't think that would be very wise at all. Go. Almost there. Obviously you are going to get some pretty serious panel lines here. But remember, we're cleaning a good 90% of this up. Now, again, it's all your own choice how clean or how dirty you want your plane to be. And of course, I am going for a very clean look on this particular plane. Whereas my American counterpart, I'm going for dirty. Now, the difference between these two kits really there are some things that the Academy has chosen to really do a lot of detail on, and then compromised in other areas. So I would say one thing the Academy has done well was they do have a lot of rivet detail on the control surfaces, where Tamiya's rivet detail is somewhat soft. Academy has really gone out of their way to put lots of rivet detail. Tamiya is just kind of like, yeah, okay, here you go, there you go, good enough. But as far as panel lining goes, the depth of the lines and how crisp they are, to me, is a lot more consistent. Now, of course, there are some things like, okay, these are actually different planes being depicted here. The Tamiya plane is a B, and the Academy is a D. So there are some slight, subtle differences. For example, the air refueling pod is different on the two planes. Somebody had pointed that out to me. And that was something I didn't know at first. Between the B and the D, sorry about that. I realize I'm doing this all off camera now, as I have this thing situated where I can have it relatively still as I paint my panel liner in. Okay, so there we go. There's one side, get that out of the sun. You can see now it looks like it's I don't know, it's done as a drawing. It's a cartoon. It's an animated airplane now. And just breaking things off. You guys heard that crack, right? Doing some vertical lines here. There are some areas where if you just flood it with paint, it's going to naturally go in those lines. But then that becomes, how much do you really want to flood it? You know? Do you really want to flood a bunch of paint on there? How dirty do you want it? Because the more paint you flood on there, the more you got to clean up. And so there's that balance, right? If you don't mind cleaning up a whole bunch, then it doesn't really matter. Okay, let's do these. Almost done. Like I've said before, how much or how little you clean up is totally up to you. And if you want to leave some panel lines because you figure they're going to be shallow or whatever in real life. You see some little indents, some little dots or whatever. You want to fill those in, you want to highlight them, that's up to you. If you don't want to do it, that's okay too. That's your model kit, right? At the end of the day, you're the one who's got to be happy with it. Alright, so that's done. Let's close this up. And let's clean the brush. I still need to do another clear coat. This is dry, so I'm going to do another clear coat on this. And we'll let let that sit. Okay, I'm going to clean up my brush. Let's just put this over here for now. Give myself some room on my desk. Clean this up. One more. Okay. So now, I'm going to take some mineral spirits. I'm going to find a clean spot on my cloth, or at least a relatively clean spot. Okay. I'm going to start here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, now I can, like you've seen me do before, just wipe it off with a dry cloth. But in this case, I want it to be a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to just put a little bit of the mineral spirits on my cloth here. Okay. So that it's got just a little bit on there. I'm going to make sure it's not too much. Okay, just a little bit. Now this was the side I started with, right? So I kind of already cracked this loose a little bit here. So I'm going to be wary about that. And I'm going to clean. Now you see it just smears it like crazy, right? But I want to clean it good. Now the mineral spirits, I got to re-glue that. So that's not happy at all. I got to re-glue that. Okay. We'll leave that alone for now. Okay. Let's work on this other section. See, you don't need a lot of pressure, especially when you've put the mineral spirits on there. You don't need a lot of pressure to clean it up. Okay. My goal here is to leave the panel lining in the lines with a minimal amount of streaking. And he does kind of dry it up and it makes it look a little bit foggy, a bit hazy, but that's okay. Okay, that's perfectly fine. And the more you want to clean, the more you can. Okay, but of course I am still going in the same direction. If you go like this, you're going to get streaks going sideways, and you don't want that. It won't look natural at all. This gives me a more natural streaking effect, but very subtle, right? It's very subtle. Now, I'm going to give myself the ability to touch this on the sides by doing this right now. Even though this was pretty much the last part I did, I want to be able to hold this thing on the sides. So, again, doing my streaking in the same direction. And even getting in this little area here. Okay. Cleaning up a good 90% of it. Just making sure to get in all those little areas. And we're cleaning it up, but we're leaving the panel lines. Okay. Get in there nice, good. Pull that stuff out of there. Clean it up nice. Try and move it a little more forward so you can see better. again, I'm not putting a lot of pressure, I'm just very lightly, because I don't want to be pulling the paint right out of the panel line, right? Because you can do that, especially if you've got a lot of mineral spirits on your cloth. You wind up pulling the paint right out of that line, and I don't want to do that. And that's looking pretty good. Panel lines are definitely distinct and showing without a whole lot of messiness. In places like this where I really went off the panel line itself, yeah, you need to do a little bit of extra wiping to get that clean, if clean is what you're looking for. If you're not really super concerned about it being clean, I mean, this is an F4 Phantom after all, you can leave that and say, yep, there's just a dirty smudge. You don't know why, you weren't there when it happened, but it's there. And you just leave it. That's all up to you. You can just leave that smudge there and not really worry about it at all. Again, it's your model. You can have it as clean or dirty as you like. And that's just the way it is. Okay, so it's looking a lot better. Still shiny. We're going to take care of that in a different step at another time. Okay, but now I feel it's clean enough that I can grab onto it and I can actually hold it here now again. I can deal with our intake and our front nose. That clean. Just like that. Again, I'm sorry if I'm going off the camera. I need it close enough to myself that I can see what I'm doing, which sometimes is a bit of a challenge, right? Clean up a little more up here. Now we're back down to the wing. And there we go. And that looks, I like the way that came out. It looks really good. All those lines are very nicely detailed now. A little bit of smudge, that's perfect. Just a tiny little bit. I didn't want this plane to be super dirty. And that is pretty much exactly how I wanted it to come out looking. And I really love this stuff. This stuff is really good for this. A little bit of cleanup. As long as you do it over a clear coat, you can clean it up pretty much perfectly. So that makes this pretty much ready for a flat coat to take away that super shiny gloss, because yeah, I don't want it super glossy like that. So that's that. And that, to a lesser extent, is what I did on this one. But what I did when I wiped this one clean, I did it with the cloth totally dry, and I didn't really try to clean it up too much. As you can tell, this is much dirtier and there's streaks everywhere and it's messy looking. But that's what I'm going for on this one. I want this one to be messy and I want this one to be cleaner, right? So that's that. So this I can put aside now, okay? As our tail fin is now dry enough. So this is something I hate. I don't know what is going on. I've been having some issues with my Tamiya clear coats reacting to the Mr. Hobby colors. And that's exactly what's happened here. Okay? Let's show you here. It's reacted up here, and it's now made that a very light green up there for some reason. Why it's reacted, and only in that spot. right? And that's it. This side is fine. This side has that going on. And I don't know why. I'm not sure why it's doing that. But anyway, we'll say, who knows, sun bleaching. That's what happened there. It got sun bleached. So I'll do my panel lines here. This side. Again, I'm not sure why it's reacted in such a way. The fact that it's reacted is really strange to me. I'm not sure why it's done that. This is literally the, you see, I didn't wait long enough, and I pressed hard on the tail fin. Now I got a fingerprint in it. So now what do I have to do? What do I have to do to get rid of a fingerprint? Well, if I was a really serious modeler and I really cared about it, I'd redo this whole thing. I'd strip this all down and redo it. But I have a problem with that. I don't have multiples of these decals, so I cannot redo it. If I strip this down, I won't have any decals on my tail fin. So I'm not going to strip it down. I'm just going to say that's the way it is. And I will have to live with it when it's sitting on a shelf and I look at it from 3 feet away and I can't see my fingerprint because it's 3 feet away. I won't even remember. 6 months from now, I won't remember that I have a fingerprint in the tail fin. And so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not even going to worry about it. Fingerprint in the tail fin is not the end of the world. I'm not entering a contest. It's not going to be put in any modeling shows. None of my friends or family are going to look at it so scrutinizingly that they say, hey, how come there's a fingerprint there? So I don't have to worry about that. And therefore, I'm not going to worry about that. And there we go. We've got panel lines done on the tail fin. All right, done, 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 done. All right. Next up, this puppy. I need to paint it. Okay. I need to paint it. So let me get my camera set up here for you guys. See how we're doing here. If I put that there, yeah, that'll be fine. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to be painting in just inside each little panel. I'm going to do some, basically repainting it to get rid of the dark areas, but I'm not actually using a lighter color. I'm just going to use the base light gray. This is the LP34 which I've used on here. Now, of course, the instructions call out for AS16, which is the aerosol spray can. The LP34 is basically the jar equivalent of the exact same color. Okay, this stuff is the exact same color as the AS16. Okay, so airbrush ready. Should be good to go. Let's put this over here. Get ready to paint. This is already thinned to a roughly 50-50 mix. Now, for the most part, I'm just going to be doing it on horizontal surfaces. Okay. The areas that I would think would be kind of sun bleached. So I'm not really going to do a lot along the sides. Maybe a little bit as you come over the edge here, maybe these top panels, but these bottom ones I'm going to leave, right? I'm thinking, okay, boom, water's coming down and it's going to be bleaching these areas, sun beating down on these areas, that kind of thing. As far as the wing tips go, I'm not going to do any, right? Well, I might, but the thing is, this is going to be sitting up, you're not really going to notice it, right? This is going to be sitting in that position. Maybe I will, maybe I will. Yeah, I will. Okay, we'll do it. You've convinced me. Okay, let's switch cameras and you can watch what I do. Let's see here. Bingo. Hello. So, I want to do kind of subtle on it, okay? So, I just want to, as soon as I start to see it starting to change a little bit, I'm going to leave it. And that's all I'm going to do. So it's really kind of subtle, right? Look at this guy now. Got a hair on. Again, just subtle, right? Subtlety is the cue, is the key. All right. Start with this wing. Why not? Again, very subtle, right? That's all I'm going for. Okay, that's that side. Let's turn it around. Let's start working on the wing here. And that's about it. So that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to get that contrast and get some highlights in there. Let's change my scene here. That's all I wanted to do with that. I wanted to get some highlights and gives that a little bit of a more bleachy kind of look, and it's more subtle. And that's all I wanted to do, is just to show, hey, there's been some stuff that's been going on this plane. And yeah, gives it that extra little, I don't know, it just makes it pop a little bit more. Let me, and it's really all I wanted to do. Let me show you here. Okay, it just, now that that's done, it makes it a little more contrast, a little less streaking inside these panels, like, right, a little bit, it gives that look, it's a fake highlight, right? It's not really a highlight, because all I've done is go back to the original color to get that done, and that's really all I've done, is that's the original color coming back up to the top now, at least to the surface where you can actually see it, even though that's not really the case. So yeah, that is that, and that is just about it for today. So now that I've got that done, I need to put a little coat of, I'll do a coat of semi-gloss, or maybe I'll do a gloss. I'll do a gloss on it, and then I got decals to put on that particular plane. Which is going to be, well, at least another evening anyway, of doing that, to get that all done and sorted and ready for the next step. Now that that's done, that opens up the door to actually start installing all of my little bits and pieces that I have on my desk here, right? So depending on how that goes, depending on how my schedule looks, I might be able to start that even tomorrow. I have, I don't know if you guys in the States are having this holiday, if you guys are doing it at all. It's a holiday up here in the Canadas this weekend, National Truth and Reconciliation Day, for Indigenous peoples, and basically the Native Indians, for lack of a better term. I don't know even if that's I'm not sure if that's PC or not, what I just called them, but that's basically what they are. Anyway, we have a holiday this weekend. It's our first year of it. So I'm not sure if the United States is following suit on that or not. So I'm not sure. But anyway, I decided I'm going to take the entire week off work next week. Oh, Mega Boy. Hey, Mega Boy. How's it going? I haven't talked to you in a while. Usually you're here at like the very beginning of my stream, not the end. We're running late today, I guess. Anyway, that's that. So I've got all next week off, and so my plan is to get these two birds finished. What are we at? Episode number 19, 20, something like that. In any case, it's been a lot. Getting these two models together has been a long process, and yeah. So this is where I'm going to leave it for today. Now I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to put a nice gloss coat of paint on it, and I'll get to the decals on that. And the next time we will start actually putting all of these little kibbles and bits onto those planes, and start the finishing process of getting these guys finished up. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you for coming out. Thank you for the new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed already, then do so. Just do it, please. And if you like this stuff, hit that like button. Comment down in the comments box below. If you want to check out my other builds that I've done, you can always check out my Instagram and check out pictures that I've uploaded on there of all my past builds and stuff, if you so choose. Because every time I finish a build, I take a bunch of photos and I put it on my Instagram. So check out those links down in the box. They're over there somewhere down below, or over here actually, I think somewhere. I don't know where they are in relation to the video. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and thanks for coming out, and we will see you all in the next one.